Hi, I had a video on TikTok that talked about what's going on in Persian Gulf, and it got a lot of hits. It was very nice, but the problem with the video was that it's in Farsi, and the stuff I'm talking about is should be important to the Americans, to the general audience, but I think that there is, for some reasons, the Biden administration is really clamping down on news that relates to oil, and there's a lot of reasons for this. Well, the election is coming up, and uh, usually in the election time, the Federal Reserve starts printing a lot of money to help the incumbent, and also they have been selling their oil reserves in United States to keep the prices of oil low. Uh, well, there is some videos on on scenarios for World War III that usually the scenario starts with the Iranian government closing down the Strait of Hormoz, and the price of oil shoots up to like 150 $200 a barrel. But this has actually happened, but it's happening in a way that the Western countries, they do not want to acknowledge it, and they kind of want to walk away from it. Well, the Iranian government, Iranian military said a couple of days ago that they're closing the Strait of Hormuz to all the Western powers that participated in invading Iraq, like Britain, Germany, United States, France. I think there's five of them, and they are well, in the concurrently they confiscated or took over a ship that was taking oil to Texas, and prior to that, the Americans had taken control of an Iranian vessel that was carrying oil. Um, but concurrently, with all this stuff going on, I think about 120 representatives or congressmen or senators wrote to Biden, and they want to increase the sanctions on Iran, and take over more of the ships, oil ships, and I don't know how close do we want to get to World War III. I think we're already in it, and uh, the, the, the I think Iran at this juncture is able to impact a tremendous amount of damage on United States and Western countries, a list of which is the price of oil, but cumulatively, I think United States has managed to damage Iranian economy over the years up to a tune of $2 trillion, and there's going to be retribution. Uh, while the Saudis and the UAE and all these Arab states, they were participating, and they discovered that they don't really have internal security. They cannot safeguard their own country, And after the attack on Aramco, the Saudis have had a real change of heart. I don't know how much bribe money and war retribution money that they're giving the Iranian government. They had to go and kiss the uh, Chinese butts, have China come in and help them broker a peace so that they could be left alone to a degree. But Iran has told them that they need to make good with the Yemenis, with the Lebanon, with the Palestine, Iraq, other countries that they have been tormenting their terrorists. They have been working overtime in all these countries, and they are kissing butt. They are kissing the Iranian butt. But one could speculate that the Yankees would be next. Uh, they are losing militarily in many fronts, in many places. Their bases in Iraq are getting pummeled. In Ukraine, they're losing. Um, we don't know how many more advanced drones and long-range rockets are on the table, being designed or are already in production. But uh, the attack on Aramco was very devastating, and I think that the Saudis got some sense that hey, we don't want to participate in this game anymore. Any country that gets harassed to such an extent as the Iranian government and loses so much money is gonna strike out. It's an sanctions are an act of war. Um, the U.S. Administrations, in the behest of like Tom Pompeo and John Bolton, they've been like handing these out like candies to many countries. That damaged huge industries in Venezuela, Iran. Uh, they buy oil from places like Iraq. They don't pay. They owe $3-4 billion. If you ask them, hey, come and pay your bill, and say, you're sanctioned. You're no good. You're Muslim. You're this and that. And uh, I don't know how much of our money, Iranian people's money, have been tied up in by the U.S. banks, or as a result of secondary sanctions. If I was in charge in Iran, I would hand out real military retaliations. I would attack U.S. ships, U.S. Cargo ships. Um, well, Iran is doing just about that, and I think the reason that this stuff isn't being publicized is that the Americans or Western countries they don't want to face it that they are going to be squeezed. Well, the Hormoz Waterway is like the throat of the world. All the energy goes through that, or half the energy of the world. We got a chokehold on that, and we should find ways to squeeze our Western friends, especially the Americans, to pay back all these losses they have imparted. They are very destructive people. Uh, I don't know what other military actions could be taken. Some like clandestine, but anybody would be in charge would be looking for ways to um, to deal the blows to the U.S. government and try to recoup these losses. Maybe like attack island, a prosperous island like Ohio, no, Hawaii, or something they own is worth a lot, and just come and take it over in retribution for $2 trillion in losses and damages. Um, well, Hawaii is worth a lot more than 2 trillion, but uh, thinking along these lines, nobody deserves to lose so much money and resources, and the U.S. government and its agencies, they haven't stopped the U.S. Treasury goes around and not only sanctions Iran or people that do business with Iran, but also imposes secondary sanctions. Uh, I don't know what's gonna happen to these people. That in the future that there will be any place in the world that's safe for them. You do so much damage to a country. I don't know. I would, if I was Iranian Ministry of Justice, I would make relations with many countries. Many countries don't have that great of relations with the U.S. Make some kind of arrangement that whenever these officials or bozos travel to them, have them nabbed. One would be John Bolton, another one Pompeo, or officials in the U.S. Treasury that have done all this damage. They need to answer for this stuff, and if we grab them, uh, there is some hope that they will loosen up with the payments. Uh, I know that they care a tremendous amount about their diplomats uh, or ambassador, but that would be just too much trouble. It would be like head-on warfare, but I don't know. Well, I saw that the Iranian military has developed a kind of a moving mine, underwater mine that that they release at some point. It goes and parks by the ship. Say there was an Israeli ship that was carrying all these Nissans, and they released one of these and uh, kind of destroyed it. These guys, they do all this stuff to other countries, and they buy all these expensive goods right along our noses, take it to Israel or right in the occupied land, just sitting there like living like a king. This is this is just wrong. I think that the noose is going to get tighter around their necks with more naval blockades, naval pursue these ships, whether they're oil or cargo ships, and I would confiscate them and resell them. But I know a lot of the gasoline and even raw oil that Western countries buy is getting confiscated. I saw in the news that they confiscated a ship that was carrying gasoline for one of the Western powers, and the ship had parked in the middle of Persian Gulf or Oman Sea, and had other cargo ships bring it the gasoline from Kuwait or Qatar, and then once it loaded up, started moving out into the ocean, Indian Ocean. But the Iranian government nabbed it and uh, brought it back to Bandar Abbas. The ship was worth with the cargo $2.1 billion. That's a nice big chunk of cash that belongs to Iranian people. Uh, we should confiscate many more of these ships bound for Germany or England or Europeans or United States. Just sit there, print money, make war on us. Uh, I don't know what's gonna happen to these people, but we want our money. Anybody be in charge in Iran uh, would do the same thing. I would certainly do the same thing. I would try to grab these goods and fuel, whatever. Well, there is another chokehold, sea chokehold in the Red Sea. I think Iranian naval vessels are there too, that the Israel takes its goods from there, or right up from the Mediterranean. They're facing on the other side is Greece. Um, that's a waterway. We have warships. Grab these things. I think at the military point that Iran is at such a level that we can take on U.S. warships and teach them some respect. So the, there's nothing wrong with it morally to grab these ships. And well, some of them Iran is sinking them, but they owe us so much money. There's no reason to sink a whole ship full of goods, or fuel, or natural gas, or they can be of value. I would go as far as confiscating any kind of intellectual goods, any kind of even personnel, that they can be relocated and used for a couple of years. They're released. They can get some subsistence wages and be of service to Iranian government, or we can use their technology. Uh, we have the upper hand. They're just gonna pay even human resources that they have, but I think that Iranian culture kind of condemns. Like uh, human trafficking. We don't want that. But anything more respectable than that, I would grab many U.S. officials, let them track them where they are vacationing. Let's go with the ship and the whole family. We have done a lot of damage. You need to answer for this stuff. Well, but our income, our national income, Iranian national income, in the last year, that all these firm military actions were taken, has been 20 times previous years under Rouhani. Uh, when we don't play nice, we are making money, things are going well. I think that Iran will distribute this money in a fair way between its people. Thank you very much for being in my YouTube channel and in my Instagram and in my TikTok. Is doing great. Uh, I think that we're gonna get in one of these days this all this bad news handed over to them, and the oil market is gonna get a shock. But even that is good for Iranian people because the price of our oil will go higher. Price of gasoline, we're just gonna have more income, and the Western countries and our enemies, they are busy killing each other in Ukraine, in Iraq, in Syria, or they're getting pummeled. Why not make some money while all this is going on? Thank you very much. I see you later.